I'm from El Paso. I was born and raised in El Paso. I graduated, like you said, from Hanks High School in '99. In high school, it was one of those things where I absolutely hated it. And I hated education. I hated teachers. I didn't want to enjoy the experience. I was very bitter. I just wanted to get out. And I'm sure you know somebody like that where you talk to them and say, "Oh, I hate school. I just want to leave. I just want to graduate already. I just want to forget everybody." And now I'm thinking to myself when somebody says that, you're going to change. I guarantee you something's going to happen to you along the way that's going to make you change. And so I didn't like to learn. And that was something that I regret so much about when I graduated from high school and I went on to college. I regretted not putting in the effort that I could have put to make myself a lot more successful than I feel that I am now. I think I could have been a lot more successful and I regret it. And so that's kind of an experience that I want to share with you guys is that you don't want to regret anything that you decide to do. So the fact that you're here right now, don't regret it. Do what you need to do and do it 100%, give all the effort to the professors and do the work that they ask you to do and do it with a whole heart and do it with passion and just give it all you got. And there's nobody else that's going to care if you do it, and there's nobody that's going to tell you you have to do it. It's got to come from you guys, right? And so, as soon as I graduated from high school, the social norm was you got to go to college, because if you don't go to college, you're going to be a bum, right? You're going to sit on the couch all day. You're going to play video games. You're not going to do anything with your life. And I was like, God, but I hate school. I hate school. And how is somebody like me that hates school going to go to college and get a degree? There's no way. It's not going to happen. I'm not going to get a degree. And so I went to UTEP, and we were discussing that a little bit earlier, that I feel that it was a mistake for me to go to UTEP. I did not know. I didn't pay attention to the counselors when they would speak to me. I didn't pay attention to the teachers when they would give me these are some ideas that you could do. Here's a little scholarship form that you could fill out. You can do it if you want to. And I was like, yeah, whatever, screw you. I don't really care. And so that hurt me, and it came back to bite me, right? It came back to bite me because even though UTEP was a mistake, because I hated it, and this was in 1999, right? So as soon as I graduated, I didn't take time off. I took the summer off because that's what you're supposed to do, right? Yeah, I'm gonna take the summer off. And I tell kids that when I teach, if you take the summer off and then you're gonna say, you know what, I'll take the fall off and then I'll start in spring. Guess what? Spring comes, I'm gonna take the spring off and I'll start in the summer, and you never go. So, and lucky for you that didn't happen. You guys are here right now, so you guys are starting that process, which is good, right? But I went to UTEP and it was just a bad experience because I wasn't ready. And I feel that UTEP, you have to be ready. You have to have that I'm gonna do it attitude, and I didn't have it. I kind of just went because I thought I had to. And my parents graduated from Bowie High School. Anybody have parents that graduated from Bowie High School? And so, are they really proud? Yeah, right. So they are proud to be a Bowie Bear, right? That's like their blood, and they kind of, they have Bowie Bear blood running through their veins, and they're all about Bowie. And my dad's really pura Bowie, pura Bowie, and he says, he'll say a bad word, but I don't want to say it. But he's all about Bowie, and I was never puro Hanks, I wasn't like that. I just didn't have that same attitude, and so my dad would start to tell me things like, "Who cares about what you did in high school? Let that go. Now, what are you gonna do? Ahora qué vas a hacer? What are you gonna do now? You want to go to school, or do you want to stay here at home because you're gonna pay me rent?" Canijo, for lack of a better word. You're going to pay me rent, right? And so I got to get a job. So I got a job, and I was my first job was at Walgreens, and it got me through all of college. Needless to say, right? That job got me through college. But when I went to UTEP and I left, I started to think, what do I have passion for? And it wasn't learning yet, right? And so I loved to cook. I used to cook for my friends and my family. My mom's an amazing cook, and she taught me. And she didn't want to teach me because back then it was like, this is for, and she doesn't know, she knows now, but this is for girls. Cooking is for girls. Guys don't cook, right? Guys fix cars, and guys do guy things and put up construction, and girls do the staying at home with the kids and cooking. And I said, well, but I like cooking. Can you just show me, please, Mom? So she started to teach me how to cook, and I fell in love with it. And I told her, like, this is really cool. And I had friends that paid attention in high school that said, hey, well, stupid, you could go to culinary school. And I said, what the hell's that? Right? What are you talking about? It's a school that teaches you how to cook. And it's like, get out of here. There's no way there's a school that teaches you how to cook. My mom's the one that teaches me how to cook. And so they said, no, here, stupid, look. And back then, the phone had just gotten to the point where it was already starting to be a big deal. Because I know that right now, being a teacher, the phone is like your girlfriend or your boyfriend. Like, you can't be without it. If you leave it at home, you're like worried about it. Like, oh. And so it wasn't back then. But I started, to look at culinary schools, and it was like, that's me. That's what I got to do. So it went from not caring to all of a sudden I care about what I'm going to do. And I wanted to go to culinary school, and I wanted to be the best student that I possibly could. And I was a great student. And not because of what people told me, because of how I treated the experience, right? Those of you that are right now in college and if you're that type of person that you feel what the next person or the person sitting next to me, kind of what they think about me, we need to let that go. And I'm going to tell you that because I used to be afraid to ask questions, right? I used to be kind of intimidated, like, I don't want to ask a stupid question. I don't want to look stupid in front of everybody. I come to realize a few years later that asking questions was what I was about. I was a ask every question in the book type of person. The annoying, you might have a student in this class that just, Professor Valdespino, whatever, and it's like you probably have the moment where you're like, here we go again with this guy. That was me. And I was damn proud of it because I was able to learn. Okay, so when I was in school, in culinary school, I did the best that I could. And I was not that same high school student who didn't care. I went to school and I was there early. I left late. I gave it everything I got. I got to network with a lot of people and meet a lot of people. And that's when I started to fall in love with education, right? I started to love to learn. And when I got out of culinary school, I was living in Arizona. So I graduated from a culinary institute in Arizona. It's in Scottsdale, and it's the Arizona Culinary Institute. And when I went, it was the second year that it was put up. So I was the third class to graduate. I had a lot of experience cooking in Arizona, working for the Arizona Biltmore in Phoenix, the DoubleTree Suites. I was one of the cooks there, and I became a good cook. And then until I met my current mentor in the industry, Daniel Bejarano, who works at the Sun and Park Casino. He was from Arizona, and he brought me under his wing, and he made me into a chef. And I don't know if you guys know the difference, but my parents, like I've told you, you guys probably get a little bit of an idea of what they're like. They still think that if you work at Chico's Tacos, you're a chef. And no disrespect to if you work at Chico's Tacos, because I think it's a hard labor job. I know the job, it's hard. But being a chef is what, like in the military, you earn your stripes type of thing, when you have to earn your stripes. And I earned them, but through him. He made me into a manager, and he made me into a leader, and he made me into a teacher, which is what a chef is. It's not just somebody who knows how to cook, it's somebody who knows how to lead, and somebody who knows how to take somebody else and make them better than yourself. And that's what I think a good teacher is. If you can take a student and make them a better teacher than you are, then you've done a great job. And that's kind of what my philosophy is right now as a teacher, that I just teach culinary arts. And the reason I say just is because I tell my students, don't ever try to eliminate that word from your vocabulary. Just, right? What did you do today? Oh, I just went to the mall. Like, what does just mean to you, right? Just, it belittles what you did, right? Take ownership and be proud of it. I went to the mall today, right? Oh, cool. What'd you do? Like, yeah, I went to here, but I just teach culinary arts. I tell them I don't just teach, I teach it. And I put passion into it. And I get kids to see that even if you don't want to be a chef, you want to learn from me. And that's something that I think anything that you want to learn has a lot of value to it. Whatever that you choose to learn, okay, it has a lot of value to you. And if it does, it's going to mean a lot more to you. So I currently teach at Montwood. And before Montwood, after culinary school, I was working 13, 14 hours a day. I had I have, currently I have a wife who I have known for, I'm going to say I've known her for 13, 17 years. And we've been married for 11 years, and we have two kids, Dominic and Brielle. That's actually how I know Art is through baseball. Our sons play on the same baseball team, and they're really good. You know, we feel our kids are really good, and they've come a long way. But our kids are, my kids are something that really changed me and who I am, and you know, for those, anybody have kids in here? Nobody? Yeah, maybe, right? Yes. So we know how important our kids are to us, and they change you and they mold you and they kind of make you into a better person, hopefully. And that's what my kids did for me. And my wife is one of the smartest people that I've ever met. She's very strong. She got her degree from UTEP. She started at UTEP and she was great at it where I wasn't great at it. She got her degree in microbiology, and she always wanted to be a pharmacist, and that's something that she has a lot of passion for is medicine, and she wanted to become a pharmacist, and she's been trying to get into the pharmacy program, and I feel confident that she will get into it because she's such a strong person, and she will get it. She worked at Walgreens. That's where I met her. We went to worked at the same store for a while, got to know each other, fall in love, all that good stuff. And she helped me to understand that I can be a better person if I just put all the passion that I have into school, like I did when I was in culinary school, because I went back to school. Because remember when I told you that I hated UTEP? I didn't like it. It was just like, why am I here? And when I went to culinary school, I loved it, and I fell in love with it, and I liked the work, but I didn't like the time that it was taking away from my family. Okay, like my kids, I just had my son, and I wanted to spend time with him, and I wanted to be there, and I wanted to be with my wife, and I wanted to not abandon them, and I wanted to just be with them. And this job was preventing me from doing that. And I knew that it was going to make it worse because I knew that the amount of the job in culinary arts, like when you're a cook or when you're a chef, it pays nothing. Okay, it's zero pay for super hard work. And if you're okay with that, it's an awesome job because it's a lot of fun. But there's no money in it unless you are just a badass chef, right? In New York, in the East Coast, in the Pacific Northwest, in European countries. And if you're not going to follow that, which I could have, then it's kind of hard to make money. And it's, 15 hours a day, never having the weekends off. Holidays where, you got to work. That's when people eat, right? People eat on holidays. And so I got tired and I wanted to pursue my other passion, which was speaking with people and talking to people. And so I told my wife, I'm going to go back to school and I'm going to finish my degree. I will tell you that the degree that I had planned on getting when I went to UTEP, which I don't know why I thought, well, what do you want to do? I'll be an optometrist. It was so, I still find it very interesting, but that's the job that I chose that I wanted to do when I graduated from college, when I was starting at UTEP. I want to be an optometrist. So I started school. Excuse me. And like I said, I hated it. And so I didn't want to go back to be an optometrist. I wanted to go back and study people, communication. And somebody once told me, you'd be a good teacher. And I said, what do you mean? It's like, you have something about you where people are drawn to you and you capture the attention of people. You'd be a good teacher. And I said, well, a teacher in what? Like, I'm not good at anything but cooking. And no, but you have a passion for people and talking with people. What if you teach like a professional communication class, like in high school? You guys took that in high school, speech. That's what they call it now, professional communications. And I said, I'll do it. And when I went to school, as soon as I started, I had a different mentality from when I graduated high school. I had the same mentality that I had going into culinary school. And I fell in love with the classes. I fell in love with the lectures and the discussions and the work and the writing. And that's when I realized that I made a mistake in not putting in the effort in high school. And it was a great experience for me to go back to school, and I got a minor in um, Chicano studies. I took a lot of classes in Chicano studies, and I fell in love with that as well. And I know that he teaches courses in that, and it's an awesome class to teach and to take. And I fell in love with it, and I started to realize that I can do this. I can be a good student. And I graduated from UTEP in 2012 with a 3.9 GPA, right? Something that I never thought that I could do. I always got an A. In everything, every class that I took, I got an A. And I started to become proud, like, I got an A. I got 4 A's. I got 5 A's. And it was just something that I was proud of because I didn't think that would be possible in 1999. There's no way you're going to go to college and get A's. You're going to be a C student. You're going to barely get by. No one really cares. You're not going to really do anything special. And that's when I realized that I could do this. I can do something great. And during the process of when I was going to graduate and get my certification in speech, which I had to take just one semester with a teacher. What do you call it? Internship. I was about to do the internship at I think I was scheduled to go to Eastwood. I don't remember. But my wife told me, look, there's a culinary arts chef position open at our school, and I was like, oh, God, like it was a decision I had to make. Do I want to keep pursuing this speech thing, which I was in love with? I wanted to do it. I wanted to teach it. Or do I take the job that's already there that I know that I can get because she works at Montwood, my wife. She's a teacher at Montwood, so she could get me the job, and she helped me to get the job, and I took the job. And it doesn't mean that I don't like it. It's like my second choice. I have a lot of passion for cooking and for the kids and for teaching, but it's been a good experience so far. And I know that I can still, if something happens, I can still go back and make a decision to teach, like we were discussing, go back and teach Chicano studies, or if we can get Congress to wake up and see that it's a necessity here to allow students to take it in high school rather than learn the history that they're forced to learn. Give them the option of picking the history that they want to learn, right? Do you guys believe that? Anybody in here feel that that's something that we should be able to do? Texas history is great. U.S. history is great. You have to know it. But you could have a choice to take and learn the Chicano studies aspect of it because it's just as important. And I feel that they negate that in the books. They don't talk about it. Why is that? We don't know, right? And we know that there's what's going on right now with the president and racism and all these things that are happening. Those are things that we should try to change. And I feel like I can do something about that. If I was asked to help, I would, because I would love to be able to have the opportunity to teach a course like that to high school students. Because I feel that, how many of you guys just came from high school like maybe less than 2 years? Less than 2 years. Okay. So you guys know that high school and college are different, right? You guys feel that already? Or do you still feel like, it's the same, mister? Like, it's the same. It's different. Like I was just telling Art that in high school, the teachers, like they come and they coddle you and, hey, how are you? And are you okay? Like do your work and make sure you get it done and go to the counselors. You need to go talk to them. And in college, it's the same thing where you still have professors that they're caring, but at the end of the day, you leave, at the end of the semester, you're gone, and there's new people, and they forget. Good luck to you, good luck, and hopefully everything works out, make good choices, all that stuff. And that's what college life is about. You're on your own, right? And so I wanted to come here with the opportunity that he gave me to share that these experiences that I had hating college, going to a different route because of where I was at the time, that I'm able to share that you guys are responsible and you guys are in charge of your own path, right? There is nobody else that is going to force you to go this way or force you to go that way. You choose whatever you want to do. And because, like I said, when I was the student that would, can you help me understand that? Can you help me to understand that? What did you mean by that? And it was like I didn't care. I don't care what you thought, ma'am, or what you thought, sir. I really don't care if you're mad, if your eyes roll back into the back of your head because you want to go home early or what have you. I'm here to learn, and I really enjoyed it. How many of you like on like rainy days when you hope that art cancels class? You know, like it doesn't make sense to me when you come and you pay for school and you drive all the way to UTEP, like, it takes you 35, 45 minutes to get to UTEP, and then you get to class and it says cancel, and then you have students that are like, yeah, let's go. And it's like, wait, you just spent all that gas and all that time, and you're paying for the class, and you want to go home? So, somebody's going to come in here and teach something, I don't know what, but that's the way that I was, you're going to get your money's worth from it. But I wanted to see, if you guys have questions, and I know I kind of ramble a little bit, but if you have questions, ask me and to kind of let me enlighten you, let me inspire you in any way. I would love to do that. So if you have any questions, I'd like to be able to answer them. Anybody? Yes, ma'am. Yeah, so the challenges that I had while I was in college were I had nobody to push me. My parents were kind of they were there supportive, yeah, whatever you want to do, like I'll help you. We can't help you with the money. You got to figure that out. You got to find a job and pay for your own college. And so those are the challenges that I was fortunate to have, because a lot of kids don't have cars. They don't have anybody to support them. They don't have family that tell them you can do it. I had that. I had a vehicle that my parents would let me use, but you got to pay for the college yourself, mijo. I can't pay for it. I don't have money to pay for your college. So I had to work full time. So when I was in school, the second part, going for my degree back in 2009, I think I started again. That's when I was a full-time employee. I had my kids. I was a full-time husband. And for those of you that aren't married, it's a job, right? It's a job to be married. It's a job to have kids, and those things are non-paid jobs that you don't have control over, but those are the best jobs, right? They should be your favorite jobs, and those are my favorite jobs, but you don't get paid for them. And so those are the challenges that I had, that I had the support, but I didn't have the money necessarily to do it, and so I had to figure that out. You have people around you that didn't want you to succeed, as far as like, don't go to class, it's stupid. Like, you have those peers around you that kind of prevent you from doing that. And so I had it easy in the sense that you have support, you have people that want you to do good, but you got to figure it out for yourself. And I had to learn as an adult, I had to learn, what does it mean to be a good student? I didn't learn it in high school, right? You guys probably did, and you should have. And if you didn't, don't feel bad, but push yourselves that much harder to become a great student. Don't sit at the back of the room and never answer a question, right? Or never ask a question, right? You want to be the student that learns everything. So if something doesn't register with you or make sense to you, ask somebody. It's going to make a very big difference when you graduate with your degree. It's going to make a huge difference, because ultimately you're paying for the knowledge, right? You guys pay to get knowledge, and don't sit there and just get through. I have people who went through 4 years of college that they didn't really get anything out of it. What did you learn in college? What did you pick up along the way? The degree is not going to get you the career. The degree is going to tell somebody that you have the what you need to get it, but what do you offer, right? What do you offer? What do you have a piece of paper. So, if I didn't know better, I have a culinary arts degree, and I go to a restaurant, like, yeah, here's my culinary degree, I want a chef job. Like, no, I don't really care about that degree. What do you do? What do you mean what I do? I just graduated from, yeah, but did you sit there with your eyes closed and headphones on the whole entire time in class, or did you pick up some stuff? Show me. What do you mean show you? Yeah, show me. Show me that you can work for me and make me something. And if you could do it, then okay, you picked it up. But you have a degree in psychology. Yeah, I got a degree in psychology. Like, so who cares? Now what do you do for me? Right? And so those are the things that I want to share with you guys is that, and I didn't mean like to just like, no, yeah, you're wrong. All right, so yeah, so there's gonna be things that come across that you want to do that are gonna stop you, and for a for a moment, you can decide, I'm gonna put it on hold, but I'm gonna eventually get there. And if you know that that's something that you definitely want to do, then you find a way. Everything that you guys are going to do, you're going to have to find a way to do it. You do, not your partner, not your counselor, not your teacher. Help me, I need help. I want to go to the Air Force. Like, what do I do? Like, no, what are you going to do to get there? What sacrifices are you going to make? The hardest ones that you can think of, if you can get through those, then you will get to that point. But if there's something, a doubt within you that you feel, I don't know if I should do it because it's not for me, then maybe it's not for you. And those are the reality, that's reality, right? Sometimes we're not meant to be a doctor, and sometimes we're not meant to be an optometrist, right? Sometimes we're meant to be a chef. Sometimes we're meant to be a mechanic. Sometimes we're meant to be a stay-at-home. Do I know that? I'm never gonna know. I hope you do if you really want to, because you can, right? There's nothing that's gonna stop you except yourself, right? Yes.
Your experience from the shift that you were a shift,
Mm-hmm.
does it help you to get the job you currently have?
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, going to culinary school and getting the degree, it didn't help me from like to get the job that I have today. Meaning, I didn't have to be a fantastic chef to get the job as a teacher. I had to show the people. Have you guys been to an interview where it's more than 5 people before? Yeah? Yeah, so those are intimidating, and that's what it was in education, that there was 7 or 8 people, and I went in there with confidence. Like, I'm gonna get this job. They didn't care that I was a great chef. It wasn't about that for getting that job. Can you take our kids and put them in a class and make them a leader and how to get a good job and teach them your craft so that when they leave, they can go out there and feel confident they have a skill. So when I became a teacher, that's when I started to understand that. But being a chef before did not help me in that job. Now, getting my degree in communications did help me significantly in the current job that I have. It helped me a lot. Learning about culture, learning about people, learning about leadership, learning about speaking with confidence and giving the students the opportunity to see that through me, right? When you guys feed off of your professors sometime and you feed off of your teachers and you kind of get that inspiration. So you might come to class sometimes like, oh God, I don't want to be here. I don't want to do this. And then the teacher's like, no, we're gonna do that. We're gonna change that attitude around. We're gonna make it a better day for you. I promise. And if they have that, then you're like, you know what? It's not that bad after all. Let me listen to what this guy's got to say. Then it changes your day. And that's kind of what has helped me to be able to understand the child psychology of it, being a teacher with students, and how you respond and how you act and how you want to learn, but you're afraid because you don't want your friends to think that you're not cool. I know that stuff. And kids sometimes think that we don't know that, but we know that with the experiences that we've had. Yeah, but that's a good question. Are there any other questions? Yes. Uh-huh.
If you had known ahead of time what the lifestyle was like, what the hours were like, and especially what the money was like, would you still have gone to culinary school?
Yes, I would have gone because I knew that that type of lifestyle was for me. I knew that I was going to enjoy not only the work, because there's nothing like leaving work feeling like you did and you just hate it because it was so bad. But then at the end of the day, you're like, I could do that one more time. And then you go home and you continue to do it. But that's because of who I was. I really had like a strong camaraderie with my employees and with people. And I knew that that was a lifestyle for me. I had to be moving around. I had to be connecting with people. And that's the way that I got to grow, right? I wasn't going to be that person that, okay, 9 to 5, sit down, you turn on your computer, and you just start whatever it is that people are doing when they're just sitting there behind the computer. There's jobs like that, and I have respect for them, but that's not me. I don't have to do it if I don't want to, and I can not criticize it, but I can talk about it that it's not for me. Like, I think that's the most boring job in the world to sit there behind a computer. But there's going to be somebody that says, well, I think that's the most boring job, cooking food, right? And that's fine. That's okay. But that lifestyle was for me. And if I don't say that I hated it, but my family was way more important to me than anything else. And so I had to make a decision. Do you want to kind of neglect your family? They'll understand. My wife's really understanding. If you work from 7 in the morning till 11 at night, we'll understand. You know, we love you and we respect that. And you love your job. But just me knowing that I'd be hurting them, that was a choice. You're either going to get out of it and find something else that's going to be better for your family, or you're going to deal with it. And I'm going to be honest, I didn't become a teacher in culinary arts because I wanted to really teach culinary arts. I kind of took it for the reason of this is a really good schedule for me to be able to still do what I do without working the long hours. You know, I can work a normal teacher schedule, teach the content that I know, and be able to see my family. So it's win, 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 as opposed to win, win, and sometimes you lose in the third one, right? So it's a good question too. Yes.
How many years did it take you to complete the communication?
Okay, so when I started at UTEP, I did 1 full year, right? So I guess if we take it down, if we break it down by years, it took me a year, and I did basics there, right? But I think I forgot to mention that when I went back to go back for my degree, I came here. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention that. I came here. Best choice I made, right? Because it was cheaper and there was small classes like this one, which gave me the opportunity to get one-on-one time with professors, and they're going to answer my questions that I have. But I came here and I got my basics here. And I took the basics that I learned, and I'm a good student. And then I took it to UTEP because now I'm ready for UTEP, because UTEP was ready to receive somebody like me. Back then, they were not ready for me. They were like, no, you're not ready, mijo. You know, you don't have the attitude to be here. And so that's something that I want to tell you. You want to go to UTEP next semester, go, but you better be ready for the responsibility that they have for you. Here, I think I started to learn that responsibility that I didn't learn in high school. I started to see I have to be on time. I have to pay attention. I got to do my work. If I don't do it, they don't call my mom, right? If you don't do his work, is he going to call your mom and say, oh, you know what? Melissa didn't do her assignment today. Let's try to work with her so she could get the job. No, he's going to just give you a 0, and you're going to have to live with that. And you can't go and say, but mister, how come I got a 0? Because I had to work. And he doesn't, it's sorry. Those are responsibilities that you have to learn, right? And so UTEP was even worse and harder, right? 900 students in a class. It's like, where am I at a concert? And then it's a class. When you sit in the way top, and if you either get what they're saying or you don't, right? And if you don't, sorry, they're not going to repeat anything ever, right? I think in community college, that's the difference. A professor will, okay, I'll repeat that. No. And then no, it's there. It's like, you missed it, sorry, right? And then if you walk in late sometimes, thank you for coming in. I was just talking about how we're going to have a test on tomorrow. Make sure you study. Oh, okay. And you don't get that information at UTEP, so I had to learn that right away. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
Who cooks in your house? You or your wife?
I do, yeah. So we had an agreement a while back when we first got married. You know, you cook because we love when you cook, and I hate to clean, right? So she said, well, yeah, that seems like a fair trade. You cook, and I'll clean up the mess. And in the beginning, I was the worst husband ever because I would not clean anything. I would leave just piles of stuff, and my wife, I hate you, and it's like, why do you leave such a mess? And I started to learn later on, I'm a teacher, like I can't, if my students come and they see this mess and I'm always getting mad at them for leaving a mess in their class, they would not trust me, right? So I started to leave, 4 or 5 little plates, and it's like, wow, thank you, But yeah, I love to cook. I still have a strong passion for it, and I do cook at home. I cook for my family. I cook for my friends. It's something that I do that's something that I feel passes on the love that I have, and there's what better way for me than to do it with food, right? Any other questions? Yes.
What do your mom thinks about like you had your degree for cooking and now you're teaching?
Oh my God, my mom. So yeah, and I know that there's lots of things that I want to say that I couldn't because I wanted to kind of just go through it really quick because I don't have a lot of time. But my mom was when I told her I wanted to go, she's like, "What do you mean? What do you why do you want to cook? Like you just want to." She didn't know that the difference between a cook and a chef. And if you don't, that's okay. It's really hard to explain, but I wanted to be a manager and I wanted to lead and I wanted to teach. And she was kind of against it. I'll tell you that she didn't feel that it was the best choice. She, I think she wanted me to be a lawyer, right? And I'm sorry, mom, I'm not that smart. You know, I am now. I am now, but back then I was like, there's no way. If I wanted to be a lawyer now, I know I could. And back then it was like no, but I want to cook and why me home? You know, like oh, are you sure? You know, and supportive but not supportive. Like, are you sure you want to do that? You know, like instead of being like yes, go do that. I support you 100%. You're my son, and I know you're gonna do great. You're gonna be the best chef in the world. No, I didn't get that. I got well. I mean, if you want to, like, oh, is that a good job? You know, those types of things. Like you're like, oh, and then you start to like second guess yourself, like, oh, am I doing the right thing? But now she she still thinks that we make enchiladas in class, and she still thinks that we just do basic stuff. But it's an art, right? Culinary arts is an art, and I'm an artist when it comes to food, and she doesn't understand that yet. And my mom is. If you have somebody in your family who's picky, like really, really, really picky, my mom will put that person to shame when it comes to being picky. And so she just doesn't have, she doesn't understand it. She doesn't understand what I do. She'll see it, on pictures and like, oh, mijo, that's nice. But she doesn't get it, the work that I do and the amount of work that you do in a kitchen. Because my mom didn't have, she went to high school and she didn't go to college. And she was a stay-at-home mom. She didn't have a job. She's only had, I think, a job as a volunteer in a high school and an elementary school, and that's it. She never had a punch-in job. She didn't know that labor part of it. She knew that it was raising us four. I come from a family of four, a brother and two sisters and myself, and we were pains in the butts growing up. And she dealt with that, and that was hard, and that's her job. And you don't tell somebody ever like, oh, stay-at-home mom, so you don't really work. Like, ooh, you don't want to say that to a mom who raises kids, right? So that was my mom. Very difficult, but supportive, but not supportive. And I was okay with that because I wanted to prove it wrong. Like, you'll see, mom. I'm gonna do a good job. Yeah. Any other questions? Yes.
What do your children say like when you cook? Like, do they tell you anything like as far as like?
Well, I think my kids have very sophisticated palates. They taste things that. Did you put lemon? And it's like, how did you know that? Like it's surprising, and I enjoy it. My son doesn't really enjoy it that much, but my daughter, if she gets the opportunity to stir something, she's happy. Can I help you, Dad? Yeah. And then she stirs like, oh, she feels like she's a chef, right? And she loves it. And my son's kind of like, I'll go play football outside, And so it's different, but they're critics of my food. Like, it's okay, Dad, and it's like, but that's cool. I tell them that's great. Never stop being like that. Tell the truth. Like we have to learn that, and that's a good point that I tell the kids that you guys have to just be yourself. Like, don't care what people think. That's a big deal in high school, and you guys know now it's not a big. Nobody cares. You shouldn't care what people think. And just be you. And if you want to comment on something, comment on something. I'm that guy that I don't understand a lot of things. Like, why can't you ask a female how old you are type of thing? Like, what's the problem with that? Why is it no, don't do that. Like, why? There are certain things that you can't do. Like if a person who's clearly white comes up to you and says, hey, you know what? Yeah, I'm Asian. I'm not going to be the person that says, are you kidding me? There's no way no, I'm going to say, oh, really? How? Why? Right? And it's okay if you think that, great. Why though? Right? Be open-minded. I think that's a word that I have not used. Be as open-minded as you possibly can from now until you graduate, and you'll see that you are going to be super successful. Open-minded, that's something they should have. Open-minded 101. They need to teach that. Yeah, they need to teach kids how to be open-minded. Don't read a text or a tweet or something and say like, oh, I got to do that because the Twitter says that that's the normal thing to do. So I got to do it. No, you do what you feel is right, and we should be okay with that. I'm not saying to be racist and blunt about everything, right? No, that's bad. But questioning things and why? Why do you think that's bad? And how come I can't say that? It's okay to, but people have to be open-minded. And if you have conversations with people and they're open and it's like, yeah, no, yeah, then it's good. But if you get like the no, 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 then you don't want to talk to those people. You want to stay clear of those people. You want to associate with open-minded people, and the networking that you'll do in college is going to take you a long way. Talking with people is going to be a huge part of your college career, and you have to be able to do it. Don't sit at the back, go home, do your work, come to class, sit there, just sit there, go home. No, network, get to know each other, talk to people, ask questions. Why do you do that? Why do you want to do that? And it'll make for a way better experience in college. Guarantee that.
Well, guys,
Yes?
we're actually
Yeah.
right up against the clock.
Boom.
So we'll go ahead and we'll stop right there. But let's give Dave a big round of applause. And thank you.
Thank you guys for having me. Appreciate it. I really appreciate you guys taking the time and giving me attention, and good luck to all of you in whatever it is that you choose to do. If you go to the Air Force, great. I hope you do, if that's what you want to do. Yeah. Well, thank you guys so much. I guess they
Dave
can.
will be around for a few minutes if you guys want to speak to him. If not,